Hello, my name's Kristopher. You know, my partner Kalyn has been bringing through guidance from non-physical friends for over 14 years. One evening about a year ago, her demeanor suddenly changed, and speaking in a powerful voice, she said, "What would you do if you were given the secret keys to unlock the universe?" As the conversation unfolded, I soon realized I was speaking with an incredibly intelligent and intentful being we began calling Zazoo. One day I asked Zazoo if he'd be willing to share his universal wisdom with a larger audience. In his humorous yet always intentful manner, he agreed. And here we are. So hello, Zazoo.
Greetings.
Zazoo, I would like to ask you a few questions, and I think one of the first things, I know it's a very human thing to do, but people are going to be naturally curious about who and or what you are. Maybe you could, in your words, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, that's a mite bit difficult because I am not human. I am not of your life system, which I have come to call an experiential life system. When you recognize that the universe is unlimited, that everything is energy, and that there is far more out there than humans can necessarily process, you begin to realize that there must be other forms of life. And one of the reasons you can't process it is because we're not always at the same dimension. And the way you need scuba gear for water and an oxygen mask to jump out of an airplane, you need different things for different dimensions. So you don't necessarily have that ability. So I am simply from different worlds, if you will, and in my travels I found your experiential life system, which I call that because what you do here is experience, and experience all the time, all day, all night, whether you are awake or dreaming, asleep. And I have become rather interested, and I like to come because this brings me the opportunity to exchange thoughts, which are not things that necessarily belong to other dimensions. So when I come, I'm going to say, let's chat.
Well, thank you. You know, I thought, Kalyn and I talked a little bit about how we should start this first podcast and speaking with you. And one thing that came to mind, because it's a very popular subject, you could say, that people, there's a lot of people, and it seems to be growing more and more because people naturally, and humans naturally, want to expand, and they want to have more, feel like they're more empowered to create the world they want.
Let's clarify that. Humans want to naturally expand and know the world, or what you just said. Let's clarify that.
Okay.
Humans are under the first causality to know themselves. They want to know themselves in all the grandeur that they are. You all want to come to know yourselves, being who you know yourself to be, experiencing what you know you should be experiencing, which to you means having things, becoming things, getting this relationship, that job, that position. So that's more specific because that is one of those keys, one of the most important things. Your existence, your lives are based on a few powerful principles or laws, if you like. And it's important not to lose sight of them, because when you stick to them, it all becomes easy to unravel. You have thus named this the keys. What would you do with the keys to unlock the universe? And that is because I did ask you that, and that was because that is what you are here for. You are here to know yourself in all the grandness as you are that part of the universe. And so if you're going to live that sort of grand life, you have to stay focused on a few keys. One of them is you're here to know yourself, and you always want to know yourself as you recognize yourself to be, whether it is rich, poor, famous, creative, whatever you know you want to be.
In that context, and I think, from some of our past conversations, I think this fits in well, but people want to feel empowered about being able to bring what they desire into what they feel is their immediate reality. And one thing that's become very popular now is the law of attraction. And
I agree. That's why it's popular, because they want to feel empowered, because they want to know themselves. They want to know how to know themselves well. And that is nothing short of addicting for everyone and a very good thing. There is no way to stop a child from wanting to play. You can eventually beat it out of them, it's true. But initially, there is a thirst that can't be quenched, a desire to, as you said, feel empowered to be able to affect your own life, really to be able to know yourself, to become that you are.
the question, I guess, would be, is the law, what people call the law of attraction, which I guess in a nutshell, the way it's normally defined is whatever you energetically are, you tend to attract something similar from the universe. So if you are in a uplifted energetic place, you're going to tend to attract things that are more uplifted and are going to please you more. Does the law of attraction, as a tool, is it a legitimate tool? Are people missing something about it? What would you say about the law of attraction?
I suppose that I set you up because I already gave you the answer when I said that you need one set of things if you're underwater, and you need a different set of tools or whatever you like if you're on land, and a different third set if you are up in the sky, falling out of an airplane, jumping, having jumped hopefully out of an airplane. The law of gravity is like the law of attraction. And I'd like to see someone come out of a plane without their parachute saying, I have very high vibrations. I don't need the parachute and I don't need the oxygen. Absolutely, the law of attraction works. In the world of energy, it is accurate. Like attracts like. That's the way energy works. Gravity works. Don't walk off any surface that's too high up without a parachute unless you are ready to come speak to me impersonally, without your person. The law of attraction works. However, there are other laws of physics, if you will, other universal laws that enable you to stay underwater, under the ocean, or that enable you to jump from 40,000 feet. And that's far more interesting and becoming more interesting to people now, because at first scientists were all excited. It was all the rage, the law of gravity. But then you say, better yet, how do we work with but defy gravity? And so I say to you, absolutely, the law of attraction is there and it is not invalid. However, you all know, everyone knows that you are still not foolish enough, I hope, to stay under the ocean's water for too long without the proper equipment. Because there are other laws that you really have to take into account at work as well. The number one law is the law of self, and I will leave it to you whether we go into that today or whether we continue with your focus on the law of attraction. I think that's a good introduction in any case, especially because so many people have gone around trying to have pleasant thoughts and finding that it doesn't work. And it's accurate to say that some are recognizing that there are other things at play, other energies in yourself. And I say, ultimately, when it is that you find that you want to be loving with everyone, you want to carry a higher vibrating energy, but still those people push your buttons, and still when someone steps on you deliberately, it doesn't seem right to you, and you can deny it to yourself, at which point you are instigating yet another energy in that denial, or you can recognize that you can't maintain that higher vibration because that's not all of who your energy really is yet. Therefore, you have other energies at play that are trumping the law of attraction. So you cannot maintain it. Now, if you could maintain it, that would be great. But most of you want to be able to jump out of a plane or stay underwater or drive a car faster than you walk. So you constantly want to know yourself as the bigger, better, more empowered, more expanded, more in touch, more infinite version. I like that. I like that. You all want to know yourselves as the more infinite version you really are. And that requires more than the law of attraction. The law of attraction is like learning gravity. You're ready for more.
Well, you and I have talked quite a bit about the law of self, and I think what you just spoke about, and my next question, I think as we go along, is going to lead more and more into the law of self, and it's something I think in our subsequent conversations, because there's quite a lot to it, that we'll get deeper into it. One thing that Kalyn and I have often talked about...
I want to say something very quickly.
Please.
If it is that you feel you are well using the law of attraction, then I say to you, unless you are able to conjure higher vibrating ideas, a new idea, I say, where does that new idea come from? Or have you found your inability to conjure a new idea? You can't very well go sit in your pondering chair and ponder and deliberately come up with something new and earth-shattering. Why not? Because you didn't have the initial energy that vibrated higher in place. So I'm saying cause and effect. Cause, you have to have that higher vibrating energy for the effect, law of attraction, to help you come up with that brilliant idea. And I'm saying, where would that energy come from? You don't create energy. If you did, you would all go around. Can you imagine what your world would be like? You'd zap out pollution. I chose to come up with a better idea, and I did. By God, I did. Child abuse. I decided that it was an awful thing, and I thought it right out of existence. I thought of something that vibrated higher, that made it disappear, and now all anyone is going to attract is loving their children. That's what would happen if you could use the law of attraction only, if that's all there was. So instead, how do you get your brilliant ideas? Because a lot of you have brilliant ideas. You break gravity. You break beyond the law of attraction, and you tap into something much higher. And that something much higher, which is really you, a lot of you call it your source or your God or whatever you like, that something much higher is the one that brings you the energy, and from that energy you might then allow yourself to have the brilliant idea that you then, when you attract, experience. So I wanted to point that out because it is the game and the level of the game that you all really want to play at. Please continue.
One of the questions I think people will have, and it has to do, it's the same question really, what I was going to ask you about the law of attraction, and that is, one of the most difficult things for people is that for whatever reason, whether it's conditioning, whether it's emotional charges, perhaps it's karma, whatever it is, people are completely sometimes consumed and distracted by, you could say, inauthentic parts of self, but emotional charges. And when a person is in that state, they can't connect to their source. They can't raise themselves up. And a lot of law of attraction teachers would say, well, just choose and do it. Well, unfortunately, for most people, it's not that easy. What would you say to those people? How do you connect with your source when you're in an emotional charge, or you have a pattern that just keeps repeating you and life's getting you down, so to speak?
It is important to talk yourself into what you prefer. You are here to know yourself in all your infinite greatness. You are not going to find that in the things that you don't prefer. So, Miss Kalyn's neighbor just said to her that there is a quarrel in the neighborhood. No doubt, a very common thing. Mm-hmm. And I say, if that's what you prefer, and that's what you sit around trying to manifest, and I still am not fond of that word, manifest, but anyway, you have to recognize if that's what you're preferring, that's fine. If that's not what you prefer, if you don't want the highlight of your day to be a quarrel with the neighbor, then you have to become more intentional. I understand that for a lot of people, there are some other steps, such as healing yourself and raising your energy and all of these things. And I do not say that they are invalid, but I say that I tend to speak at a very different level. From where I spend most of my time, so to speak, hanging out, so to speak, watching humanity and life, you are better served to take a shortcut, so to speak. You are better served to say, screw the fight. I want to go scuba diving, snorkeling, skiing, to a movie. Go do what makes you happy. Go do what you know yourself to be, because you might be a great sportsman. You might be a great movie watcher. There is no judgment as to what it is you love to do. There is great fault in yourself when you aren't doing it. And what I mean by that is there is no judgment. There is no one who is going to, from the sky or from any other vantage point, tell you that you are right or wrong. But there is fault within yourself and you feel it. And we see people hurt because they are not choosing to focus simply where they prefer. How? Intended. When you focus upon your intent, if you wake up in the morning and you say, I intend to live my life by enjoying myself and going to the movies every day, that is fine, and it can be quite empowering. And at that point, you might become one of the best critics, movie critics. And see, there isn't the right way to do life. Law of attraction will tell you that, and certainly the law of self will tell you that there is the self way to do life, in which you are living your life according to yourself and your self's energy, which for many of you might sound something like your source's energies or higher vibrating energies. And to many of you it might sound something like, if you are living a life of heavenly energies, although many of you think you can't attain those, so it has a connotation that you don't do as well with. So call it preferred energies. If you are living a life of preferred energies, law of attraction says you are going to be given back experiences of preferred energies. That you can determine according to yourself. Because those energies, well, what are those energies? Those are energies that come from yourself, that you prefer. If you prefer to be quarrelsome, be quarrelsome. Most of you don't tend to enjoy it because it's not an authentically highly vibrating energy. Generally, you want to be appreciated. You want to be a part of. You want to be fine. You want to go to the movies and have popcorn and hopefully not get too fat as you watch your favorite actors or screens or shows, that sort of thing. So, I understand that you all get very well buried and weighed down by your life issues. These things in life that come down upon you. And I say to you, they are there, it's true. You are bigger. I like this, so I keep saying it. She saw the Aladdin cartoon quite some time ago and then saw it recently, and the genie says, infinite cosmic power in an ittle-bittle living space. And he's referring to the genie in the lamp. You are exactly that, all of you. You have infinite cosmic, you used the word empowerment. You want empowerment. You have that infinite power. Those infinite energies, endless abundance. You are all of it, and your lamp is your body. You are fooled into thinking that your abilities are that of your bodies or less. But it is inaccurate. And when you talk yourself into recognizing that going to the movies, maybe you have to go to work first. Fine, go to work first. But going to the movies, if it is going to brighten your day, it is far more valuable energetically. If the universe had a bank, that would earn you more money. I understand that until you can play at that sort of level, you might not be able to go to the movies and get paid every day. You're not going to get your human pay, your US dollars for going to the movies, but you are going to get what Miss Kalyn calls universal tender for it. Why? Because the law of attraction says that if you are putting out an energy, which you're more likely to put out if you're going to the movies, if that's your fancy, you're going to get that energy back. And what is ultimately most important, or should be most important to you, is anything that will help you know who you are. Know yourself in your thoughts, in your feelings, in your actions, in your energy. Know yourself as the lover, as the entrepreneur, as the friend, as the creative artist, as whatever it is, having whatever you want, being whoever you want to be, and you have that infinite cosmic power. It is in a little space. You need to talk yourself into recognizing that you occupy far more space, that you can go about and have a far better experience. So when those things weigh on you, remind yourself, get intentful. Look forward to when you get to go and do what you want to do and increase those times as you can. The universe will work with you at that level. When you are intentful and you say, I am the most important thing for me to love and take care of, everything around you changes. When you say, I am going to go to work because I want to be able to pay my bills, you're appreciating yourself. And then I am going to go to see my friend. I'm going to go shopping. I'm going to go to the movies. I'm going to go for a test drive in someone else's car. And I'm going to have fun. And I'm going to know myself in joy, in adventure, in companionship, in romance, in whatever it is that you are today, because you don't have to be the same thing. You are not supposed to be the same thing. You're supposed to choose it every day, every time you switch, whether you switch every now moment, whether you switch every month, it doesn't matter. Then you intend that, and you will find that although working with some of your issues can be very beneficial, you can, if you are able, you can take shortcuts. You can be who you are because that's already the fabric of your composition. So I say, you already are who you are. You can't deny it. Many of you try, but you're missing the great cosmic power. And then you say, yes, but I'm always angry, or I'm always hurt, or I always don't feel confident, or I always feel like I'm not good enough. And I say, you need to talk yourself into who you know yourself to be. Because if you are so out of touch with your greatness, go to a therapist. If you are not that out of touch and you can touch it, and then touch it again, and then touch it more and more often, because therein is your intent. And when you are intentful, you watch that law of attraction abide, and you watch as you break it and go beyond, and you break the sound barrier which you have. Can you imagine staring at the moon and for so long thinking you can never go, and then one day you do? Break the barrier of your beliefs that say you can't go to your own moon. Whatever it is that you desire, you are meant to. There's a part of you that knows that you're supposed to, and there's a part of you that will never be fulfilled or satisfied. And this is the time for you to live who you are. And you will find that who you are is that great cosmic wisdom, and it's filled with all sorts of wonderful energies, because at the heart of it, who you are is not really quarrelsome or any such thing. Who you are is all sorts of things filled with joy, connection, creativity, imagination, mind-blowing sex, mind-blowing concerts, creativity, incredible thoughts, stories, adventures, ideas. And it doesn't matter if you are just doing something mundane. You can have amazing bookkeeping practices. You can be the best tax accountant who people hate, and they love when he saves them money or she saves them money, but she does it cosmically. There is nothing in all of your experience that is not from far more than just your earth. It is only you that doesn't let yourself see it. If you never broke gravity, you'd never get higher than a tree. You'd never get lower than being underwater for a few minutes. And just as humanity has learned to go much deeper, you are learning to take yourselves much deeper as well.
Zazoo, thank you very much. I see our time is about up, but it's really been, I've had a great time, and I'm sure everybody listening will have a wonderful time too. And looking forward to our next time.
I enjoy our conversations because, as I said, That is something you should all enjoy. It is unique, almost unique only to your experiential life system. So, it has been great fun, my friend.